Beautiful sunshiny Sunday afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-40s. They had their first snow flurries of the fall season here this week. And we are just about ready. Gus Bradley, who was under the weather earlier in the week, was dealing with the flu. Actually had to have Jed Fish sub in for him and take care of his media commitments on Monday. But Gus looking much better. And his counterpart, Marvin Lewis, longest tenured head coach in the history of this franchise, 12th season here in Cincinnati, 94 wins, 30 more than the second head coach in the history of the Bengals, Sam Wyche. Mike Nugent on the kick. Bengals won the toss, they defer, and so Jacksonville will receive, and we're underway. Jordan Tadman's going to play from a couple of yards deep, target across the 15, out past the 20, still going. Duncan out past the 25, and an excellent return up the sideline by Todman, the second-year runner out of Cincinnati. So here comes Blake Bortles, only the 6th start of his NFL career, 1-4. 2 more pick sixes, Solomon, that he threw in the 27-13 loss at home to Miami last week.
But yet he still comes to it with a wonderful attitude. I think given to him by his head coach, Gus Bradley, said the real critical element is to learn from the mistakes and not repeat them here today.
Lone setback, Denard Robinson, 100 yards in each of the last 2 games. First 100-yard games of his brief NFL career. Robinson across the 30, lunges forward to the 34, tackle made by the 2-time All-Pro Geno Atkins. Luke Joeckel was a question mark this week, had a concussion sustained last Sunday, went through the protocol and deemed himself fit. So he is up. So many young players on this offense. So the return of Cecil Shorts a couple of weeks ago, so huge, especially for Blake Bortles, inactive 3 games this season with that nagging hamstring strain. 2nd and 6. They mark the football just inside the Jacksonville 34.
Hey, Delta!
Robinson behind his lead blocker, the fullback Tao Fall. Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Penalty marker thrown.
Holding. Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 2nd down.
That's Zane Beadles, the elder statesman on that offensive line. And Solomon, not a good sign here. Robinson, running back, goes down, and now the Jacksonville trainers come out to take a look. Early stages, just under a minute gone by as they look at Robinson. Stay with us. They continue to look at Denard Robinson on the Jacksonville sideline. So Toby Gerhart, who returned last Sunday from a foot injury that had him sidelined for 2 weeks, onto the field. Delayed handoff. This is Gerhart across the 30, get to the 35, close to the 36. As he tries to pick up a huge chunk of yards. Tackle made by Vincent Ray after a run of 12. Solomon, another look at the replay. Hard to see where Robinson was hurt.
Yeah, he goes down, but then see the big guy, D'Amato Pecco, lands right on top of him there. And hard to be able to tell exactly where he may be hurting. But anytime a big guy like that fall on you, you get hurt all over
everything
the place, right? That's right.
3rd and 4, Shorts in motion. Bortles near side, it's incomplete. Intended for the rookie Allen Hurns. Coverage by the safety George Iloka, and Jacksonville will punt.
Hard to find a better pass covering secondary than this of the Cincinnati Bengals. You can see the combination routes. See, they match up well. Iloka's right on top of Hurns on that play. They allow the 2nd lowest quarterback completion percentage of any secondary in the National Football League.
Brian Anger, the 3rd-year punter, and Adam Jones will play it from his own 16. Jones speeding right out past the 30 and tackled at the 33-yard line by Carson Tinker. 48-yard punt, 18-yard return. We'll get our first look at Dalton next.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. The Dodge Brothers. 100 years later, their spirit lives on. And by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it.
Great football weather and a great Football City, Cincinnati. First offensive possession for Andy Dalton and the Bengals. Out of the gun, he throws on 1st and 10. That's the tight end, Jermaine Gresham, the two-time Pro Bowler. Out past the 45, first down pickup of 11. So Andy Dalton really showed moxie last Sunday. Solomon had the 2 late turnovers, came back onto the field, led them down the field, and snuck it in with under a minute left to win it.
And everyone with this football team, the Cincinnati Bengals, as you take a look at A.J. Green, the thing they love most about Andy is he just has a penchant for winning games, something he showed in that win over Baltimore 1 week ago.
Dalton, the 4th-year quarterback who has led his franchise to the playoffs in his first 3 years. Penalty marker whistles the play dead.
Ball start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Marshall Newhouse onto the field to start. Mike Pollock making the start as Kevin Zeitler is out today, re-aggravated a calf injury last week in the 4th quarter. Jeremy Hill, the 2nd-round pick, the rookie out of LSU, makes his first NFL start. Giovanni Bernard out today with an assortment of injuries, but specifically a hip flexor. 1st and 15 after the penalty. That's Hill spinning across the line of scrimmage and brought down around the 42-yard line. Defensive starters for Gus Bradley, Red Bryant, who has been among their headline players along that front, won a Super Bowl in Seattle last season. Jeremiah George signed off the Jets practice squad late September, makes his first start as a Jacksonville Jaguar. And Demetrius McCray, a starter today. Alan Ball placed on IR this week, out with injury, so he has done it. Has been a banged-up secondary. So they will really miss Ball for the rest of the season. A torn bicep. 2nd and 12. Dalton's pass off the fingertips of Gresham right at the 50. Gresham wanted a penalty. It looked like J.T. Thomas. Solomon got his hands on it. It'll be 3rd and 12.
Thomas was in great position in coverage, right in the hip pocket of Gresham. See him cut underneath that throw from Dalton. And if he had another step, maybe it's intercepted. So really good coverage. I think Cincinnati Bengals are going to be tested up front by this Jaguars defensive line. And with Zeitler out, I think it really is going to test the Bengals offensive line to protect Andy Dalton and try to generate some room to run the football with Jeremy Hill.
Ram.
Dalton didn't like what he saw, so he will have to burn an early timeout. We mentioned the injury to Ball. Of course, Paul Posluszny lost a couple of weeks ago to a season-ending injury. Posluszny, a top 5 tackler in the NFL. He's been their best defender the last couple of years, and they have really just tried to move forward. In a lot of ways, it's not a 1-7 defense, Solomon. They started the year bad on a historical level in terms of points allowed, but boy, they've come on the last 4 weeks, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of their ability to pressure the quarterback, they've only given up 3 offensive touchdowns in their last 4 games. That's the best of any defense during that span, and so you could see a line of improvement for this football team, and that's what the Cincinnati Bengals really do have to be aware of. You can take a look at the numbers. Tied for second with 25 sacks in terms of the best red zone defense, but yet giving up a lot of explosive plays. Most of those came in the first 4 weeks as opposed to the last 4 weeks.
What does Hugh Jackson call up here? This is 3rd and 12. Dalton, all day to throw, flushed out, surveys the field. Dalton sacked. Excellent coverage downfield by the secondary. Chris Smith, the rookie defensive end out of Arkansas, able to get to Dalton.
Take a look, and we're going to show you because you know he wants to go to A.J. Green, and you can see right there, A.J.'s going to come over the middle of the field, not able to see where the other receivers are right there, but good coverage on the back end by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So Kevin Huber on to punt, 2nd in the NFL in gross net average of 44 a kick. Ace Sanders will watch it take a Jacksonville bounce through the back of the end zone. So Bortles and company back onto the field. Both teams 0 for 1 on their first possessions, were scoreless on CBS. Oh, with NFL Mobile, stream live local Sunday afternoon, primetime games, and NFL Red Zone right on your mobile device. Learn more right now at NFL.com/mobile. Good news for Jacksonville. Denard Robinson, their star running back onto the field. Had to leave on their first possession. Looked like he was banged up, but on the field here on 1st and 10. Play action. Bortles sold it well. Hit as he throws, and it is nearly picked. Somehow through the hands of Terrence Newman. He had it, dropped it. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, he's going to come and roll out on the play. And now he's going to try to jam this one into tight coverage. Under pressure by Carlos Dunlap. But what did Marvin Lewis tell us? He's going to give us an opportunity to intercept passes. Look at Terrence Newman. Had his chance, didn't hold on to it. Marvin Lewis told us specifically, we've got to catch it when he throws it to us.
Bortles has thrown 4 interceptions this season that have been returned for touchdowns, including 2 last Sunday. Robinson gashes the defense across the 30. First down run to the 32, 14 yards, but a penalty marker is thrown right at the line of scrimmage.
That means it's going to come back. And boy, was he on a tear.
Personal foul. Clipping. Offense. Number 67 with a roll-up block. Half the distance to the goal. Replay 2nd down.
That's Austin Pastor, their 2nd-year tackle, on a huge penalty.
Take a look at the right guard. Number 67 right there. Right at the feet of one of the defenders with his back turned to him. Got to stay up on those plays. That's a point of emphasis this year in regards to safety. We've seen players have their season end on injuries because of those types of blocks.
Looked like Robinson was already past
Absolutely.
the play.
Didn't have to do it.
But the penalty still has to be called. This is the fewest penalized team in terms of yards as Bortles just lunges forward trying to pick up some of the penalty yardage back as he gets close to the 15-yard line. Such a young offense, Solomon. I think it begs the question at this stage of the year, does Bortles still give this team the best chance to win? We've mentioned the interceptions. And we saw what Buffalo has done sitting down a guy like E.J. Manuel, and it's worked for them.
I think certainly the only way you get better is by playing. And you have to leave them on the field, or you have to go through these growing pains.
3rd and 15. You saw Jed Fish, their 2nd-year coordinator. He draws up a little screen pass. Shorts out past the 25, brought down at the 28. Short of the first down. They'll punt after a gain of 13 yards.
Yeah, more on Blake Bortles. You talked about the interceptions, 4 of them returned for touchdowns. I think the only way you grow as a quarterback and develop, you have to be on the football field. Remember, they have a lot of young players on the offensive line, a young group of receivers, and they have to all grow together. And this is a kid that's just got to really look at some of the other great quarterbacks and learn from their experiences.
It's actually the youngest offense in the NFL as Adam Jones somehow evades the first tackler, still on his feet, covers a lot of real estate to pick up only a couple as he's chopped down at the 22-yard line. 52-yard punt. Andy Dalton trying to get Cincinnati on the scoreboard when we come back on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network. And by T. Rowe Price, understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence.
Inside our television truck, our sensational CBS crew. Scoreless here in Cincinnati. Bengals' 2nd offensive possession. The rookie Jeremy Hill making his first NFL start for the injured Giovanni Bernard. And as excited as they've been about Bernard, they think this kid Hill is going to have a fine career. And they don't think there'll be much of a drop-off, at least for one game.
Now, even Hugh Jackson, the offensive coordinator, said that he was excited Jeremy Hill was going to get this opportunity. They love his ability to run between the tackles. He catches the ball well coming out of the backfield and is equally as strong in his area of protecting the quarterback. So it's nothing that he can't do on a football field.
2nd and short. Lunges forward. Looks like he has the first down. Hill, a kid who grew up in Baton Rouge, starred at LSU. He's exactly the kind of power back with speed, Solomon, that Hugh Jackson covets.
Yeah, Hugh Jackson, absolutely love him. They talked about him yesterday. He has a high football IQ. Remember, Hugh Jackson was in Baltimore, worked with Cam Cameron there when Joe Flacco came into the league. Well, Cam Cameron now the offensive coordinator at LSU, and so he comes in having already experience within the offense, ran the same offense at LSU.
Dalton on 1st and 10 is going to take a shot down the field, and it's incomplete. Boy, Dwayne Gratz was with A.J. Green step for step.
It's just a 9 route. We talked to A.J. Green, said he can run every route on the route tree. This is what we call a 9 route. Vertical, get deep, but Gratz remains in position. A.J. Green did a really good job just breaking this up, keeping Gratz from coming down with the interception. He was in better position to come down with the ball than A.J. Green was.
Bring it.
We haven't seen Dalton take shots down the field this season like he has in years past. Minimal gain on Jeremy Hill. A big part of that, of course, was the absence of Green Solomon in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you can see from last year to this year, pretty much close to being on trend, even without A.J. Green. I think greater efficiency is the tail. You talk about passes of 25 air yards, only 16 attempts, but he's connected on 6 of them, 3 of them for touchdowns. So I think he's operating with greater efficiency when throwing the ball down the field in 2014.
Hey, let's go. Hey, I'm 5'2".
Jaguars coming, 3rd and 12 over the middle, incomplete. Off the hands of Mohamed Sanu, who was their #1 receiver in Green's absence. Sherrod Martin, the backup safety, on the coverage. Bengals will punt.
Oh, this is something they're doing a much better job at. Challenging receivers at the line of scrimmage. Getting a jam on Mohamed Sanu, undercutting the throw, and that ball goes off the hands of Sanu. Maybe could have secured it a little bit better, but the tight press man-to-man coverage by the secondary, this is the best I've seen so far from Jacksonville.
Huber on to punt. And Ace Sanders back deep from inside his own 20. Takes some Bengals backs inside the 15, and they'll mark it down right around the 14-yard line. 53-yard punt from Huber. And once again, Bortles pinned back deep in his own territory when we come back. Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by MetLife. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew from Cincinnati, Paul Brown Stadium. Still scoreless between Jacksonville and Cincinnati. Denard Robinson moving the pile close to the 20. Brought down just outside the 17-yard line. Solomon, so difficult to evaluate a young quarterback like Blake Bortles because of the youngsters that are around it, rookie wide receivers. But what have you liked, what have you not liked so far?
What you like his overall physical abilities, his ability to move, strong arm, great accuracy. But, you know, the football IQ has to improve. That comes with experience.
Keep it on the ground again on 2nd and 6. Robinson still going. Breaking tackles to the 40. Robinson cuts back inside Bengals territory. Finally brought down by Emmanuel Lamur after a 38-yard burst and a Jacksonville first down.
They're working the left side between Beatles and Joko. And look, it's going to come right over here. And he comes, and he's able to hit it and get to the outside. Take a look. Right behind the fullback, right behind the pulling guard. And look, the defense overruns it, then breaking a tackle in the hand fighting with the safety, Reggie Nelson, as he gets more positive yards.
They give Robinson a blow. Bortles dragged down, and this could be a horse collar tackle against Dunlap, who got him from the back.
Personal foul, defense with a horse collar tackle. 15 yards added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's on Carlos Dunlap. Take a look right here. See, Bortles is elusive enough to get away, but then right there on the back, and they are right on top of it. Not going to get away with that one, but it shows you the athleticism that we talked about, that they can run read option with Blake Bortles, and he's elusive enough to evade a defender in space like Carlos Dunlap.
And boy, did he sell that fake handoff very well to fake out the defense. 1st and 10 after the penalty from inside the 28. Robinson still on the sideline. This is Toby Gerhardt, who began the season as their starter. Tackle made by Dunlap. Frustrating year for Gerhardt. This was supposed to be his breakout year, as you see some pushing after the whistle. Gerhardt backed up Adrian Peterson in Minnesota each of the last 4 years, but ineffective at the start, and then the foot injury that sidelined him 2 weeks.
Yeah, and now giving way to Denard Robinson. But what I think it does, it gives them a great 1-2 punch. You know, Robinson's got the speed to get on the outside, and then they can pound it up the gut with Toby Gerhart. But he still had the ability, I think, to bust it out and get to the second level of the defense.
4 wides on 2nd and 7. Play action. Screen pass near side. Bengals run forward. Shorts still on his feet. Loses yardage. Terrence Newman leading the charge for Cincinnati. As we get an update to New York, JB and Boomer.
Just like Kansas City drew it up.
Well, I'll tell you, things are not going your way for the New York Jets when you bat a ball down right here and it falls into the hands of Anthony Fasano, who's sitting on his can, and then jumps over the in-line right there, goal line right there for a touchdown. Kansas City up with the Jets, 14-0.
Didn't make that one up, Spiro and Solly.
Hey, JB, tell Boomer that's how he got most of his touchdown passes here in Cincinnati.
We'll see Kansas City next Sunday in Buffalo against the Bills. Loss at 9, so 3rd and 16. Little pass, screen to Gerhart. Inside the 20, Gerhart taking guys on his back, and he has the Jacksonville first down. What a play by Gerhart. 20 hard-fought yardage. As they move the chains, there is an injured Jaguar back at the 24.
He's just going to check down right here. And look, as he comes out right behind the screen, a wall of offensive linemen breaking the tackle of 57 Vincent Ray and dragging defenders beyond the first down marker.
Injured Jacksonville Jaguar is Brandon Linder. Stay with us. This week, Thursday Night Football showcases an AFC North rivalry as the Browns come to Cincinnati to take on these Bengals Thursday night, 8 Eastern Time, live on NFL Network. Brandon Linder, one of 2 rookie starters on the offensive line being looked at. So Jacques McClendon, who started the year as a starter, checks in at right guard. 1st and 10 after the run by Gerhart. This is Robinson trying to get to the edge. And forced out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Keep in mind, this is a Cincinnati defense that is dealing with some major injuries. Vontez Burfict, their star linebacker, had a knee scope this week. He's out at least 2 games. And Ray Maluga out for a 3rd straight week, Solomon.
Yeah, Nico Johnson starting at the middle linebacker position in place of Ray Maluga. Wasn't on the team during training camp. And I asked their head coach Marvin Lewis, well, how much of the system does he know? He says, well, whatever plays we run with him, that is the system. Tells you how he's dealing with a short stack right now.
Draw play, Robinson on 2nd and 11. Bengals able to hold up front. Talked about statistically the drop-off that we've seen from Cincinnati, and the issues have really come against the run as they try to hold here in the red zone.
Yeah, as you can take a look at the numbers, their red zone numbers were once, really good. It's still good, still top 10 inside the red zone, and now they have to try to keep out this Jacksonville Jaguars offense.
Jacksonville, meantime, worst red zone offense in terms of yards per play inside the 20. 3rd and 9. Bortles pump fakes, completes inside the 10. That's Allen Hurns. Needed to get to the 4 for the first down. We'll see where the officials mark the football. Appears to be short. And now the field goal unit sent out by Gus Bradley.
But you like what you saw from Blake Bortles. He was poised. He didn't try to force the ball in coverage, didn't throw an interception. And even the pump fake, those little things, Spiro, tells you that for a rookie quarterback, he's trying to do everything he can to uncover his receivers, trying to move the defense and create passing lanes for his receivers.
Chip shot attempt by Scobie, the 11th year kicker, from 25 yards out. And Scobie is perfect. So Jacksonville at 1-7, trying to come to Cincinnati and pull the upset. They draw first blood. 3-0. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 25-yard field goal by Josh Scobie. So 3-0. Jacksonville with $1:21 to play in this opening quarter, and so far a very impressive start, specifically from Gus Bradley's defense. You see the scoring drive, 10 plays, 79 yards, just over 5 minutes.
This is a spirited bunch. We said at the top that this was a dangerous Jacksonville Jaguars team. And Gus Bradley, his team, he showed it last year. Remember, second half of the year, They had started 0-8 and then won 4 of their remaining 8 games in the second half of the season.
Infectious personality of Bradley, so difficult to keep a losing team motivated at the end of the year, but boy, did he do a wonderful job of that as Adam Jones gets to the 20. What have you seen so far, Solomon, from his defense?
Well, I see an improvement in this defense. They're playing so much better on the front end, hurrying and harassing the opposing quarterback. But on the back end of the defense is where they improved, where they had once given up a lot of explosive plays. They're playing tighter in coverage, jamming receivers, disrupting their release at the line of scrimmage. You can see point production in the month of October way down for the opposing offense. They're creating more turnovers on the back end. We told you, allowing only 3 offensive touchdowns in their last 4 games, best of any defense in the National Football League during that span.
Dalton fakes the handoff to Hill and threw it behind the tight end, Ryan Hewitt. Wasn't even close.
I've got to tell you, we talked about this defense improvement. One of the reasons why, not well known, because Gus Bradley in recent weeks has taken over the defense. Remember, that's where he earned his bones as the coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. And in recent weeks, he's taken the approach that he's going to have more of a hands-on deal with the defense in terms of designing the pressure package up front, working with the defensive backs on the back end in coverage, and the real point of emphasis has been rerouting receivers and getting physical with them at the line of scrimmage.
Second and 10. After the incompletion, Dalton play action's going to throw it far side. Has Green for the first time today. Leaping catch for the first down. 16 yards as they move the chains.
And it's only the second completion for Andy Dalton in the game. It's going to be an out route. He'll press upfield and then snap it off. Watch him jam that foot in the ground. Round it off just a little bit. We told you he's right now about 95%. Talked to A.J. Green. He said last week he was about 80%, improved to about 95% in terms of that toe injury when it comes to running routes.
37.
Dalton just 2 for 6 in the early going. This is Cedric Pierman, who's bumped up now to the number 2 running back position, only his 6th carry of the season. And that could be the final play of this first quarter. We'll see what the Bengals do here.
They're going to take their time. Doesn't look like they're in a hurry as Andy Dalton's going to head over and have a conversation with his coach.
Well, Marvin Lewis has been around an awful long time, 12 years in Cincinnati. Always concerning the week after an emotional win. And so far, he and the Bengals down 3-0. Dalton will have it on a second down play when we come back. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the second quarter. High above Paul Brown Stadium, downtown Cincinnati. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew with you. Cincinnati, if you've just joined us, just 44 yards of total offense till this point. 2nd and 7, high pass, what a catch. A.J. Green's second reception after a slow start. On the shelf the last 3 weeks with that injured right big toe. First down, Cincinnati.
He has no problems getting up vertically. Look at that. He plucked that ball where it would go over the head of most receivers. And Spiro, if you would ask me, what is the Cincinnati Bengals offense with or without A.J. Green? We've already seen him stretch the field. We've already seen him catch the ball underneath. I think when he's on the field, this offense is so much better, and we'll continue to explain just how they're better with him on the field.
1st and 10, this is Pierman. 50-year running back out of Virginia. He's been with Cincinnati since 2010. Keep in mind, no Giovanni Bernard today, out with the hip injury. He leads them in scrimmage yards, so that also a big loss as they welcome Green back.
Yeah, and I think that's what A.J. Green really does. He helps, I think, eliminate the defenders in the box, because you got to roll coverage to him. You have to have 2 defenders for A.J. Green. That means fewer defenders in the box to defend the run game, and Hugh Jackson can hammer away at this defensive front. They typically like to play 8 in the box. Right now you see 7 defenders up at the line of scrimmage.
Dalton hit on the release. That's incomplete through the hands of Sanu, who Dalton has been unable to find that early chemistry with till this point. 3rd and 8, update time back to New York.
Miami keeping it going.
Lamar Miller, 2 yards out right here. Miami's going to take a 14-0 lead. Ryan Tannehill, 9 of 10, 96 yards. A TD pass, had a nice 22-yard run on this last drive. They are up 14-0 over the Chargers.
Hey, Solly, Boomer said he would take touchdowns however he can get them. Back to
That's right, JB. It doesn't matter.
Hey, he threw enough to become an MVP in 1988 here.
Dalton on 3rd and 8 trying to improvise. Pearman straight pass has the first down and more. Inside Jacksonville territory down to the 32-yard line after a favorable spot. 15 yards on the catch and run from Pearman. First down, Cincinnati.
Well, Pearman is going to come out of the backfield. There you see him right there, and he'll just leak out. The key is he can create yards after the catch, and that's what all the running backs are taught here. Look, breaking tackles, getting beyond the first down marker. Hugh Jackson, before becoming offensive coordinator this year, had been the running backs coach and really hand-selected these guys to be able to do multiple things on a football field when they're not running the football.
8th play of the drive, pitch play here. This is the rookie Hill, downhill to the 22-yard line. Jonathan Cyprien, the safety on the tackle. 10 more yards and another first down for the Bengals.
The run game has struggled in recent weeks. We talked about with A.J. Green on the field, fewer defenders in the box. Look, they kick out, they seal the edge. Hill is really good at reading the defense, being aggressive with his excellent vision and finding the hole and then pressing it downfield.
Most carries for Hill on the season, only 15 in that Week 2 game against Atlanta. Hill so far, 5 attempts for 22 yards. Here he is again inside the 20. Picks up a couple on first down, and now some extra pushing as the officials quickly step between. Looked like Russell Bodine and J.T. Thomas had to be separated.
And Spiro, typically Gus Bradley, he wants to play a defense with 8 defenders in the box, single high safety, man-to-man on the outside. Today he can't play that with A.J. Green on the field. He's going to put 4 defensive backs back with what we call a cover 2 shell. So we're going to have a 2-deep look with the corners outside. Means you only can have 7 defenders in the box, and that's what you see on this play.
Dalton's going to throw, 2nd and 7. Finds his man in the seam. Mohamed Sanu for the Cincinnati touchdown. Yards, and Cincinnati takes its first lead.
Mohamed Sanu is going to get more one-on-one coverage. He's going to come here and then take it into the end zone and watch. He's going to see him and then follow him all the way down the field. One-on-one coverage right there in the seam, jam it in there, and that's what A.J. Green does. Takes 2 defenders with him who was outside of Sanu. That allows Sanu to get one-on-one where he's been winning here as of late.
4th touchdown of the season for Sanu. Injured Bengal being looked at. Stay with us. 4th touchdown reception of the season for Mohamed Sanu, the New Jersey native. 19-yard reception. Well, it took Andy Dalton and the Bengals offense a couple of minutes to get out of first gear. They finally do. Mike Nugent on for the point after. Andre Smith, their starting tackle, had to be helped into the locker room. We'll get an update on him as quickly as we can. Sanu finding pay dirt, and Cincinnati takes its first lead on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Visit Domino's.com. T-Mobile. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
I always wondered what they did with all the pumpkins after Halloween. They call that the pumpkin chuck. It's done in Mount Washington, north of where we are here in downtown Cincinnati. 10-play scoring drive at 80 yards led by Andy Dalton. 19-yard touchdown pass to Mohamed Sanu. And the Bengals take their first lead. Spiro Ditas, Salman Wilcox, our entire CBS crew from Cincinnati. This is Jordan Todman across the 30. Todman with a 2nd return of 30-plus yards to get Bortles excellent field position. Coming up Saturday, the SEC on CBS brings you the best games from the best conference with a day-night doubleheader. First, Texas A&M takes on Auburn, and then at prime time under the lights, the Crimson Tide and the Bayou Bengals showdown in Death Valley. It all begins with Inside College Football and College Football Today. Auburn a win over Ole Miss last night in a thriller, and both Bama and LSU both had byes yesterday. 1st and 10. So how does Bortles respond with Jacksonville down 7-3? Bortles looking near side to the screen pass. Robinson cutting back. Robinson has looked awfully dynamic here at the start, brought down by the linebacker Nico Johnson. Clay Harbor, we're told, had an elbow injury. He's already come back. Brandon Linder, their starting guard, Solomon, shoulder injury, questionable to return.
You want to be healthy, obviously, on that offensive line to try to protect Blake Bortles. You see, they're doing everything they can to get the ball into the hands of Denard Robinson. Very elusive, very quick and fast. He gets into the open field. Look out.
Keep it on the ground. Robinson, 2nd and 11. And Cincinnati trying to shore up that run defense. Devin Still, who of course has been in the news this season. The incredible story of his young 4-year-old daughter Leah battling terminal cancer. He is there to make the tackle, and Jacksonville will have a 3rd and 9.
Well, they're going to need him in this game. Geno Atkins has played and at times played well, but yet to fully recover from that season-ending knee injury. Domata Peko, the interior portion of this defensive line, going to have to play well today in order to shut down the run game if Jacksonville still try to pressure the quarterback.
3rd and 9 from the 35. Bortles under pressure, flushed out. He's going to run it, throws at the last instant, and it's incomplete. Pressure coming from Dunlap, who has 3.5 sacks on the season, and a penalty marker thrown as we await the call.
Illegal touching of the ball. Offense number 88. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
It's the rookie Allen Hurns. So once again, Bradley sends out his punt team.
Yeah, and see, and if you're Dunlap, you've got to be able to contain Bortles. You can't let him get outside. He is so mobile, and we talked about to be able to pressure the quarterback. So you come underneath right there, and look, he escapes out the back door, buys time, and nearly completed that pass.
Punt is blocked. Boy, this one is going to take a very fortunate bounce for Jacksonville. Rex Burkhead, the man who got his hand on the football, he's their number 3 running back. Anders somehow still got it 26 yards down the field. Burkhead making things happen in a special teams game for Cincinnati. Timeout. 7-3 Cincinnati with just under 10 minutes to play in this opening half. Spiro Didasam and Wilcox. Marshall Newhouse, the 50-year tackle, is in the game for the injured Andre Smith. Had to be escorted into the Cincinnati locker room. An ankle injury. His return is questionable. Here's Rex Burkhead, who just had the block punt a moment ago. Solomon doing a little bit of everything. Tackle made by Cyprian.
Burkhead putting in work. This is what we call a Steve Tasker special. He goes up, and then watch him come under on the punt from Brian Anger. And this is just a really nice move. Athletic move, still quick, gets a hand on it. But that ball takes a generous roll for Jacksonville.
Draw play, fake the handoff. Dalton sold it well. Needed to get to the 48-yard line for the first down. We'll see where they spot it. J.T. Thomas starting today at one of the linebacker positions, makes the tackle. He's short. It'll be 3rd and 1.
You know, when you run that read option with a quarterback like Andy Dalton, obviously you want him to protect himself. But when you're a yard away, the way that he slid, he actually fell backwards, and that kept the ball from going forward beyond that first down marker, and he's unable to pick up the first down.
Yeah, tough.
Andy Dalton, who celebrated his 27th birthday this week.
River.
They work from the gun on 3rd and 1. Play clock down to 0. Dalton barely able to snap it away. Completes to Brandon Tate. Cincinnati first down inside Jacksonville territory. They pick up 10.
Now this is a good read and a good throw from Andy Dalton. Look at the tight coverage by Gretz. See, he's right there. The defender linebacker was right underneath. And Dalton's able to slam it in there to Tate, who holds on for a first down.
Only the 14th reception of the season for Tate, the 6th-year wide receiver out of North Carolina. 8th first down for Cincinnati. They line up at the Jacksonville 43. This is Hill taking on tacklers, a physical runner. First NFL start for Hill today, if you've just joined us, for the injured Giovanni Bernard. Now, this is a short week, so you don't know what Bernard's status will be. They'll have a home game here Thursday against Cleveland. Hill may have to get another start later this week.
But see, a player like Rex Burkhead is a guy that they wanted to get some playing time. A guy like Cedric Pierman. They have a really deep roster for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, that depth has been tested with these injuries, but they're very deep in their offensive backfield as well.
Bengals unbeaten in 13 home games in the regular season. 12-0-1 here since last December. Play action, 2nd and 8. Dalton nowhere to throw, and he is tackled at the 42-yard line. Derek Marks, as Dalton is able to pick up a very short gain on the play. And again, excellent coverage, Solomon, down the field.
Yeah, excellent coverage. And take a look how they contain the quarterback. See, it's good pass rush, good penetration by Tyson Alualu. And there you see right there, even the secondary pass rushers of Bray Jones. But good coverage on the back end provided time for the pressure to get home.
Dalton actually loses a couple. We saw his knee hit the turf behind the line of scrimmage. So favorable spot for Jacksonville. 3rd and 9. Jaguars coming. Dalton takes a shot. Fires it out and he finds Sanu. Majestic pass by Dalton. Right over the shoulder of Sanu for the 32-yard first down pass play.
It's just a combination route. And you're going to see, this is going to be A.J. Green coming underneath. And then watch him come over the top of that. And see, he gets the single coverage that he's looking for, one-on-one, dropping it right over the top. We said that Andy Dalton had improved on his accuracy on the long ball. It was a really good throw, but an even better catch from Mohamed Sanu.
Hill the long setback, Dalton play action, a running screen pass. This is Green inside the 10, he fumbles the football. It's loose and Cincinnati recovers. So fortunate, Sanu, Johnny on the spot as Cincinnati avoids disaster.
Yes. And it looked like Jeremy Hill was down on the play. Remember, he's replacing Giovanni Bernard, and he was wincing in pain. And you can see Marvin Lewis understand that he's been losing players, and now he's got this talented rookie running back laying down on the turf.
First NFL start for the rookie out of LSU, whom they drafted in the 2nd round. We take another look.
Well-designed play by Hugh Jackson. Trying to be aggressive. A.J. Green attacks but doesn't hold on to the ball. Look, they almost had it, did Jacksonville. There you can see, I think it's Mohamed Sanu's able to fall on it. Good hustle, able to recover that ball. Had A.J. Green not fumble the ball, they would have it down inside the 5-yard line.
Solomon, as they continue to look at Hill, where would this team be without the play of Sanu? #1 receiver in the last 3 weeks without Green. So massive for him as Hill now will limp to the Bengals sideline.
Yeah, really good point. What Mohamed Sanu has been for this team. Remember, they lost Marvin Jones for the season. He's on IR. He's not coming back. They lose A.J. Green, their star talented receiver, their #1 guy. And look, in the 3 games with A.J. Green out, look what Mohamed Sanu has done. Average almost 100 yards per game. And then almost 10 receptions per game. I don't know that it gets any better than that.
Sanu last Sunday had a career-high 125 receiving yards on just 5 catches. Cedric Pierman onto the field now, with Hill being looked at. 2nd and goal from outside the 12. Dalton throwing end zone, caught, touchdown! A.J. Green There is a penalty marker behind the line of scrimmage, and this one may be coming back.
Boy, are they on the attack, though.
Offside. 18 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
And he's saying, how did that happen? But A.J. Green must have been by a sheer alignment, because I didn't think he moved. You can see right over, see right there. He lined up offsides. And then he comes over the middle, and there's the strike. But it was just by a sheer alignment that he didn't check it. Normally when you line up on the line of scrimmage, you check and you look out and you get it clear with the official. But maybe he didn't do so then, because they're saying he didn't move before the snap of the ball. They're saying he aligned offsides to begin with.
Negates a 12-yard touchdown pass. Hard collision. Pearman is stuck by that Jacksonville defense right up the gut. 3rd and goal as they mark the football just inside the 15.
But clearly you can see Marvin Lewis, his offense coordinator, Hugh Jackson, understand the advantage they have when A.J. Green is on the field. If you play him one-on-one, he's going to beat you. But if you double cover him, then Mohamed Sanu is going to beat you, or they can jam the run game in when you have fewer defenders in the box to protect against the run game.
Just be sure.
3rd and goal. Dalton far side, incomplete. Unable to locate Sanu. So Mike Nugent on to attempt the field goal.
Telvin Smith, number 50, is going to come into your screen underneath right there. So if you throw that on the money, he's going to pick it off. You literally have to throw it behind the receiver like a back shoulder fade to elude the defender so it's not intercepted.
So once again, Gus Bradley's defense that has been so much more impressive after that horrific start to the season. Able to hold inside the red zone. And that 31-yard field goal is good from Nugent. So the Bengals add on to their lead, up 7 with 4 and change left in this first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL, and by Ameriprise Financial. More within reach.
Tomorrow on NCIS Los Angeles, a new case will open old wounds. Don't miss a dramatic new NCIS Los Angeles on its new night tomorrow, 10/9 Central, only CBS. 31-yard field goal by Cincinnati kicker Mike Nugent. Andy Dalton's 10-play, 49-yard orchestrated drive stalls in the red zone. 10-3 our score with 4:25 left before halftime. Jordan Toppin, a couple of returns of over 30 yards already. Taking on tacklers just short of 20. As Blake Bortles comes back onto the field, under 100 yards of total offense, and now the time of possession starting to become a factor.
Absolutely, and now Blake Bortles has got to get it going. He's got to begin to take some shots down the field. But remember, we talked about it at the beginning of the game. He has to remain aggressive, but still be cognizant to protect the football, not throw interceptions. They're only down by 7. You start chasing points, pressuring, and trying to squeeze the ball into tight windows and turn it over, then it will widen the lead for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Robinson, 100 yards each of the last 2 weeks. Going backwards. Geno Atkins starting to resemble his all-pro self on the tackle, and Bortles has had issues, Solomon, under pressure.
Look, playing well when you don't blitz him, but you got to blitz a rookie quarterback, because look at the quarterback rating, and the 5 interceptions have come when he's been blitzed, and you can see his overall completion percentage has plummeted as well.
Bortles, the 3rd overall pick in May's NFL draft, only his 6th NFL start today, that time nearly picked off the hands of Lamar, who had an interception in the 3rd quarter in the victory here over the Ravens last Sunday. A pass intended for Shorts.
Yeah, Lamar, see him in the slot right there against Cecil Shorts. And watch him jump. This is just, really talented. as a linebacker for Lamar to have that bit of footwork, that great a feel for the passing game. And that's what we said. Bortles has to be very careful against this Bengals defense. They're one of the best in the league in terms of pass coverage.
Bengals coming. They get to Bortles on 3rd and 11. Carlos Dunlap dumps him for a loss of 8.
Austin Pastor, the right tackle, 67, is overwhelmed by the speed of Dunlap. Take a look here, coming in from that side, coming right around number 67. Swat the hand down, close to the quarterback. Blake Bortles never had a chance. At that point, as a quarterback, all you could do is secure the ball, don't fumble, go ahead and punt it, put the defense back on the field.
Dunlap now 4.5 sacks. They block Anger again. Officials signaling where did the football go out of bounds. It was Taylor Mays, the safety. And now they say it is a safety.
This is a special teams meltdown by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Second block punt for the Bengals in the second quarter. Taylor Mays is a big guy, athletic, moves very well. Coaches love him. They like having him on the field. You can see him coming right here. Oh, actually, he comes from, yeah, that's him right there. He's able to, he looked like one of those defensive linemen. He's so big. Thought he was coming from another position, but look at that. Getting his hands on the ball, just an excellent play.
Mays, the 50th man out of USC, as Anger gets a second straight punt blocked. It was Rex Burkhead earlier.
Yep.
Delayed call from the officials. Finally, conference that decided it did in fact go out through the back of the end zone, so a safety. And Cincinnati builds on its lead, now at 9.
Well, Mays is 6'3", 230, but boy, doesn't he move really well? I mean, that was an athletic move to go ahead and beat the blocker off the line of scrimmage, close, and still to come away with the block. It's all around really good football play.
Well, Marvin Lewis and Cincinnati beginning a critical week. 2 games in the next 5 days. They'll be home here for the Cleveland Browns, whom they have not seen yet, in a very important divisional game.
Spiro, they had gone 5 weeks between wins. Week 3, the win over Tennessee, and then they got the win last week, week 8, against Baltimore.
Started the year so impressively. 3-0. Winning those 3 games by a combined 47 points. Here is Adam Jones across the 30 and brought down at the 36. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report will send you to New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Plus a preview of that Thursday night game coming up on NFL Network between the Bengals and the Browns. It's all next on the Verizon halftime report. That 0-2-1 stretch on, and you just mentioned the Week 5 loss blown out at New England. They tied Carolina here in Week 6 and then went to Indianapolis in Week 7 and were shut out by the Colts 27-0. Update on Jeremy Hill, left knee questionable. So Cedric Pierman in his stead. The lone setback on 1st and 10. Keep it on the ground. This is James Wright, the rookie. First down run, 11 yards. Brought down just shy of the 50. Oh, let's go back to the block punt.
Yeah, let's see where the ball bounced out. Okay. Right there. See it way up top. The ball's right up there. And they're saying it was behind the pylon, which is essentially the end zone.
That pass on 1st and 10 batted down at the line of scrimmage. Chris Clemens, who is Jacksonville's leading sack man on the season, got his hand on it. It'll be 2nd and 10. And Brian Anger, have to feel for that guy at this point. A couple of blocks on his punts.
See, they're getting a push in the face of Dalton. Ball nearly intercepted by Clemens.
Jacksonville trying to keep it more than single digits before halftime. Got the 2-minute warning still to come. 2 timeouts left for the Bengals, 2nd and 10. Dalton, little screen pass, Pearman inside Jacksonville territory. 4-yard pass play through the air. Clock stops at 2:07 left.
And this is where you want to work the clock. If you're Dalton, really good getting the ball out of the hands and into the hands of his running back, Pearman. Now it's going to be Pearman and Burkhead. Right now they're without Giovanni Bernard, without Jeremy Hill in the backfield.
That takes us to the 2-minute warning. 2 timeouts left for Cincinnati. Up 9 on CBS. Final 2 minutes of this first half. 12-3 Cincinnati. 3rd and 5 play. They line it just outside the 47-yard line of Jacksonville. Bengals have 2 timeouts left. Rex Burkhead, their number 3 running back, onto the field. Dalton, screen pass to Burkhead, and he is met. J.T. Thomas putting a hurting on him. Short of the first down by a yard. 4th down and decision time for Marvin Lewis.
Burkhead gets kissed by Thomas. Tough kid to hold on to that one.
Marvin Lewis is going to think about it. He'll take a timeout. $1:41 to play in this first half. And this has been a hard-fought, physical game. We've seen guys have to leave. A couple of guys going to the locker room. As Cincinnati down in their final timeout. Reminder, the Verizon halftime report is coming up. JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher standing by in our New York studios. They'll take you around the league in this Week 9 of the NFL, plus a preview Thursday Night Football on NFL Network on the Verizon halftime report coming up next.
Now that was an impressive play by Thomas. The Bengals are going to go ahead and punt it. And I think they should. I would not go ahead and give them great field position. You have really good momentum. You're here at home. You don't need to start taking chances. Now, this is an area where teams often fake a punt as well. So if I'm Jacksonville, I'd be on high alert.
Jaguars have all 3 timeouts left. Here's Huber on the punt. Trying to pin him back inside the 20. And they will do just that. Perfectly placed punt. Down by Dre Kirkpatrick. And Bortles is going to have to start it inside his own 10.
Dre Kirkpatrick as well as Wright. They're fumbling around with it, but yet they're able to down it inside the 5-yard line. I think it's the right play because when you got a rookie quarterback like Blake Bortles, it's going to be uncomfortable, as we've already showed you the numbers. When you're blitzing a young rookie quarterback, tends to struggle a little bit. You blitz him in this area of the field, good things tend to happen for your defense.
So the 22-year-old Bortles from the gun on 1st and 10 outside the 5. Keeping on the ground, this is Todman. Out past the 10, close to the first down marker at the 15-yard line. Appears to be about a yard short. 9-yard scamper from Todman.
We talked to D'Amato Pecco, the defensive lineman for the Cincinnati Bengals. What did he tell us? They spent all week working on what, Spiro? Their tackling. He said, we went back to the pads on Wednesday because the run defense he felt had suffered as a result of poor tackling. So Marvin Lewis got his defense back on the field, went back to the basics. But as you saw in that run by Todman, he ran right through defenders as he created yards after contact, nearly close to picking up the first down.
Gus Bradley burning his first time out. There's Pecco. He's been so huge for this defense 9 years. The former 4th-round pick of the Bengals back in 06. Todman stays on the field on 2nd and short. Bortles has time, slings it near side. First down, he's got Robinson. Allen Robinson out past the 20. 10 yards through the air, tackled by Jones. First down pass play. Solomon, what are they looking to do here as they work down the field?
Well, you obviously want to try to get the ball, get it out of bounds, but I'd like him dumping it off to the backs coming out.
Near side pass, that one was nearly picked. Not sure if Bortles tried to bring it back in at the last minute off the hands of the linebacker.
It's Emmanuel Lemire. That's right. Well, watch. It's as if, look, he tried to pull it back. Maybe it's tipped at the line, I believe, but Lemire, nonetheless, Marvin Lewis talked about it. He's going to throw us the ball. We're going to have opportunities for interceptions. We've got to catch them. That's the second one they've dropped here in the first half.
And it was Lemire who nearly had one earlier. 2nd and 10. Bortles again under pressure. Near side, short dump off to Todman. Todman brought down right after the catch at the 26-yard line. Tackled again by Jones. They only pick up a yard on the play. And now the Bengals, Solomon, recognizing that they may have another chance, will burn their final timeout. Well, the CBS Sports app now has the fastest scores. Download it today and be the first to get your football updates and scores right on your phone. 49 seconds left. So Jed Fish has to make a decision here. Do they get conservative or take a chance?
I think
with 2 timeouts left.
You run the football, and 2 things are going to happen. Either you're going to bleed more time off the clock before you punt it, or you force the Bengals to burn one of those timeouts.
There's Jed Fish, only his 2nd season calling plays at the NFL level. Served on the same staff in Seattle as Gus Bradley a couple of years back in 2010. 3rd and 9. Bortles going to throw it over the middle. It's caught right at the 30. Allen Hurns, he's about 5 yards short of the first down, 4 yards. So Jacksonville will be able to draw down the clock, but they will punt.
I think that was a dangerous play. Remember, you've got a young quarterback. I think you always have to be thinking about his development. It was a conservative pass play, but nonetheless, because it was completed, it does keep the clock running.
Well, they can run the clock down here to about 3 seconds, but can they get the punt off is the bigger question. Anger, if you've just joined us, has had 2 punts, I should say, blocked. 1 for a safety. They're coming again, and Anger gets it off. This will be the final play of the half. Jones on a bounce. He's going to play it, as he always does, out past the 25 and brought down at the 29-yard line to take us to the end of the first half. It has been physical, as once again the officials have to separate. And now penalty marker comes in. This will draw the ire of the head coaches. Ron Torber is our referee.
Well, it was after the time had ended, so whatever is going to be assessed, it'll have to happen in the second half.
Andy Dalton, the 19-yard touchdown.
Unnecessary roughness by Jacksonville, number 50. That 15-yard penalty would be enforced on the second half kickoff. First half is over.
So Telvin Smith, the man penalized. End of the first half in Cincinnati. Bengals 12, Jaguars 3. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. In Cincinnati, getting ready for the third quarter. 12-3 our score. Bengals in front of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our CBS Group. Spiro Ditas and Solomon Wilcots. This one was a lot closer than we expected. Certainly is closer than we thought maybe going in. What do we expect from both teams, Sally, second half?
Well, I think if you're Andy Dalton, remember, you're without your 2 star running backs. Giovanni Bernard out of this game. We saw Jeremy Hill leave. And so Andy Dalton's going to have to control the pace of the game, protect the football, take some shots with A.J. Green. And then if you're Jacksonville, you're defensively, you've got to get after Andy Dalton in the second half, force some turnovers. But we haven't seen Jacksonville take any shots down the field with their passing game. Sooner or later, they're going to have to really try this Bengals defense by launching the ball down the field to create big plays on offense.
Now, Bortles has not taken the shots down the field. A couple of passes that were almost picked, Solomon, as we take a look at the numbers in the first half.
Yeah, and you can see those numbers are almost even, except for in the second half where the Cincinnati Bengals offense came to life. Andy Dalton got it going. We talked with him, and he said that he was going to allow the game to come to him, the great feel of the game. But Blake Bortles, when taking those opportunities to try to get the ball down the field, he's got to be cautious. He's got to be conservative. More than anything, he's got to be sure and certain on his reads of the defense when he tries to go down the field with the football. Nearly intercepted twice in the first half of the game, Spiro.
Both times by Bengals linebacker Emmanuel Lamar. We talked about what a critical stretch today begins for Cincinnati. 2 games in the next 5 days. They'll be home here Thursday night for the Cleveland Browns as the Bengals back in the top spot in that ultra-competitive AFC North, which, by the way, is the only division in football with all 4 teams above 500. Josh Scobie has to kick from the 20 after that penalty on the final play of the first half on JT Thomas, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Jacksonville 1-7, Bengals 4-2-1. This is Jones out past the 30, 35, brought down right around the 37-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. Bengals that emotional win here last Sunday against the Ravens. As now Jones jawing at some of those Jaguars. First half possession, slow start for Dalton and company, but they came on.
Yeah, I think it's a credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars defense to force the Bengals to punt on 3 of their 5 first half possessions. Did give up 2 long drives of 10 plays going down the field for 80 yards on one of those touchdown drives. So Dalton has had to be patient. I think he's going to need to remain patient against this Jaguar defense in the second half.
Pitch play. This is Jeremy Hill, who left the game in the first half with a left knee injury. His return was questionable, but is deemed himself fit. Tackle made by the rookie linebacker Telvin Smith. Pickup of only 2.
But he's finding yards hard to come by against this bunch. We talked to Red Bryant. He had been in Seattle with Gus Bradley. He brings over a certain amount of leadership, physicality, accountability on defense. They wanted to take it to this Cincinnati Bengals offensive line to them.
Short pass over the middle. That's the tight end Gresham for a short pickup of 5 over the middle. Bryant winning a Super Bowl last season with Seattle. Solomon talked about the evolution of those early teams with the Seahawks. Had to suffer through a couple of 4-win seasons. And that's something that really lured him to Jacksonville, chance to build something from the ground floor.
He is such a phenomenal leader. And the way that he works with the young players. He talked about patience, talked about the development process with these Jacksonville Jaguars team. And that's why I think they're so dangerous, because they expect to play better in the second half.
Dalton on 3rd and 3 is going to find his man Gresham. First down inside Jaguars territory. A 2-time Pro Bowler picks up 7 through the air, tackled by Cyprien and Telvin Smith.
Take a look at him. He's a talented tight end. Hugh Jackson wants to get him more involved in the offense. Design a play here. You can see him breaking 1 tackle, pick him up a first down. Remember, Eifert is out. Has been out since week 1, and so Gresham has had to get a lot of the work done at tight end by himself.
Gresham last season over 50 receptions for a 3rd straight year. First Bengals tight end to ever accomplish that feat in their franchise history. Jeremy Hill trying to get to the edge, tackled by Grotz, the 2nd-year corner. We're just over a couple of minutes gone by. Again, no Giovanni Bernard today if you've just joined us. Hip injury. And so Hill making his first NFL start.
But can't you see Gus Bradley's fingerprints all over this defense? They're so much more physical at the point of attack. They're so much better tacklers on the back end. And the way that they jam in reroute receivers at the line of scrimmage, it really goes a long way in preventing big plays.
Play action. Dalton's going to take a chance. Far side to Sanu. He makes the catch. Somehow, over the shoulder, under duress. 36 yards for the first down.
The Bengals like their receivers big. Mohamed Sanu is 6'1", 210. So he can win the physicality battle at the line of scrimmage and still have the speed to get deep. Coming off the right side of your screen, or he's coming off the left side to the right by Jan the linebacker. Look, even with the safety draped all over him, is able to come down with it. Josh Evans couldn't knock him off the ball.
Sanu had the 53-yard catch last week in that final drive to set up the go-ahead score by Dalton. And now Cincinnati has to burn an early timeout, as Dalton saw something he didn't like.
First charge timeout, Cincinnati.
There is a penalty marker on the field at the 15-yard line. No signal yet from the officials.
It's a 30-second timeout.
Official goes over, picks up the flag. So it just looks like a timeout taken by Cincinnati.
Didn't we say Dalton had improved on his accuracy on balls down the field? I just thought that was an incredible throw. Even with Evans in tight coverage, dropping the ball over the head of the linebacker, J.T. Thomas, where only Sanu could get it. And what tremendous trust he shows in Mohamed Sanu.
And he showed such toughness last week, did Dalton. Those 2 late turnovers. Bengals blew an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter before Dalton led them down the field. The big catch by Sanu. Capped off by the Dalton sneak with under a minute left to win it against the Ravens. First and 10, Dalton's going to run right on cue inside the 5 and forced out of bounds right around the 3 by Jonathan Cyprien.
He thought he had himself another rushing touchdown, already 2 on the season. He could see the end zone. He could see that pylon. Take a look at this play on the read option. Defensive end comes down. You keep it, pull it yourself. Now it's he and Cyprien. He thought he was going to make it, but Cyprien closed in too quickly.
Boy, these Hugh Jackson offenses are so unpredictable. We've seen him be a coordinator in run-heavy systems. We've seen him like to throw it around all over the place. And they have found a perfect mix of run and pass here. This is Hill. Low on his shoulder, trying to get into the end zone. He's short. Clock continues to run. 3 minutes gone by.
You mentioned it. Hugh Jackson is creative as they come. This is a read option, and they can do it because Andy Dalton is athletic enough. As you saw, he's not trying to run the daylight and go 80 yards. He's just going to be efficient with his decision making. It's something that Hugh Jackson has brought, I think, to this particular offense, and being very steady. He knows that these numbers, these rankings are going to be better as the season goes on. We already showed you a lot of talented players not in the offense. Marvin Jones, 10 touchdowns 1 year ago. He's out. Tyler Eifert, the talented tight end first-round pick from 1 year ago. He's also out.
First down and goal to go for Cincinnati. Jackson taking over for Jake Gruden. Now, of course, the head coach in Washington. Talking about polar opposites in terms of personality. Jackson, as fiery as they come, has really challenged his offensive players here.
He has challenged them and forced them to become better, and that's why, despite losing so many players, he's still productive.
Hewitt in motion. Domaton goes into the game at fullback. Here's Hill. Outside burst, catch back, and he's into the end zone for the Cincinnati touchdown.
It's just a really great read. Nice cutback move by Jeremy Hill. The defense was stacked in. They were ready to win at the point of attack. But his vision is so good. Take a look, coming right, see his vision. Instead of coming downhill, he bounces it. Gets outside the linebacker. Then the cutback right there underneath Evans to get it in. He made it look oh so easy as a rookie runner.
4th rushing touchdown for Hill. Rookie making his first career start for the injured Bernard. 8 plays, 62 yards. The big play, the 36-yard pass from Dalton to Sanu as Mike Nugent bangs in the point after. Cincinnati building on its lead. The big first-year back, Hill busting it in from 2 yards out. Fourth rushing touchdown of the season for that man, the rookie running back Jeremy Hill out of LSU. 19 unanswered from Cincinnati after the Jaguars have taken the early lead. 10:33 remaining in this third quarter. Jaguars are going to play it with Todman from 5 yards deep in his own end zone. Todman has had some electrifying returns today. That's his third one of over 30 yards. Bortles needing offense when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Progressive. Comparing rates to help you save. Now that's Progressive.
Picturesque look of the Ohio River just beyond downtown Cincinnati. Early third quarter, Blake Bortles desperately trying to lead this offense to some points, down 19-3. Shorts in motion, Bortles from the gun on 1st and 10. Fakes the draw to Robinson over the middle, has Shorts inside Cincinnati territory. Tackled by Iloka, 21 yards through the air for Bortles. First down, Jacksonville.
Yeah, and watch Shorts. He'll beat the jam at the line of scrimmage. See, makes him miss. And this is the furthest they've thrown the ball down the field. You've got to force the defense to defend every blade of grass or they creep closer to the line of scrimmage.
Robinson. Ball comes loose. Didn't come out after he hit the turf.
It was there.
And was he touched? I don't think he was.
Oh.
Cincinnati takes over possession.
The ball's on the ground long enough for you to get up, blow the whistle, go back to the huddle. I wondered if anyone actually saw the ball sitting there on the ground. Finally, they fall on it. Does the Cincinnati Bengals, Brandon Thompson, and you can see coach is thinking, was he down? See right here, let's see. Ball's hit, okay, so.
The previous play will go under review.
That's going to be down by contact. It's going to be down by contact. It's actually Thompson who tripped him up. And once he hits right there, then that's going to be considered down by contact before the ball comes out.
Here's the call from Torben.
Ruling on the field will be reversed. The runner's left arm and elbow were down before the ball came out. It'll be Jacksonville's ball, second down on the 40-yard line on the Jacksonville hash. The clock will start on my ready for play signal.
All right, let's bring in our CBS officiating expert, Mike Carey in New York. Mike?
Yeah, Solomon, you had it right. If you look closely, the wrist is the first part of the body to hit, but that's considered part of the hand. That does not put him down by contact. But then his forearm hits, and the ball is still in his complete control, so it's a great reversal on the field. And as you see, it's a down by contact.
All right, Mike, thank you. Here's Bortles throwing down the field. He's got Hearns for the touchdown. And what a turn of events. Turnover overturned, and Bortles finds Hearns for the 40-yard bomb. Jacksonville back in it.
Spiro, we said it at halftime. They're going to allow Bortles, have to allow him to take shots down the field, matched up against Leon Hall. And watch, Hearns gets beyond him. Hall is in chase as he looks back for the ball. Look, Hearns does a better job of locating the ball and coming back to it, is able to haul it in for a touchdown. But you have to force the defense to defend every blade of grass.
Fourth receiving touchdown of the season for the rookie Hearns. And Scobie's point after makes it a 9-point game. 3 plays, 64-yard scoring drive, capped off by the 40-yard catch. Bortles to Hearns, brand new game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by 2 for $20 fan favorites, only at Applebee's. And by TD Ameritrade.
40-yard touchdown pass. Blake Bortles, the rookie, finds his fellow rookie, Allen Hearns, on a long strike. And Jacksonville showing a heartbeat, cutting the deficit to 9. Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, Week 9 matchup. Bengals trying to get to 5-2-1. And another all-world collision. Jordan Todman, who has been a special teams ace today, making a tackle. And Solomon take us back to the long pass, Bortles to Hearns.
Well, it's just a vertical route by Hearns, but take a look. It's going to be Bortles. He's going to just get out of the backfield, but he still has vision down the field to locate the streaking Allen Hearns on the touchdown. 40 yards. Look, on the rollout, vision downfield, throwing the ball with great accuracy. Hearns comes back to the ball to get the touchdown against Leon Hall.
And a play that made it all possible, the Denard Robinson fumble that was looked at by the replay booth, overturned. And Bortles give him all kinds of credit, showing some serious moxie. Just when you thought Jacksonville was dead in the water. Cut back by Hill. Had the touchdown run early in the quarter, out past the 20. Forced out of bounds by Cypri in the safety. 10-yard burst from Hill, and a Bengals first down.
This guy's got some of the best vision I've seen on any young running back. Take a look. He's going to start looking here, but come all the way back, and that's where he's able to get it outside. This is just an incredible run by the rookie runner. And take a look. Good vision, and then the burst to get to the second level, clear on the other side.
Couple of years at LSU, as Solomon mentioned earlier, under the Camp Cameron pro-style system there. Here's Dalton all day to throw near side. It's Hill again. Close to the 30 and another first down. We'll see where they mark the football. Leroy Reynolds on the stop. Officials will mark it right at the 30.
Take a look at Andy Dalton on this block. Look at this. He's like, I got you. I almost had you. He doesn't have to block him. Just slow him down a little bit and allow Jeremy Hill to do the rest.
Andy Dalton's tougher than you think now. He did just enough for Sally points out. Second and short. This is Pearman, and he's going backwards. Blown up by Geno Hayes, the seventh-year backer.
Watch Hayes working against, look at the tight ends. Trying to block Hayes. He can't block him. He does get blown up. It was Ryan Hewitt trying to block Hayes, and Hayes destroyed Hewitt and the ball carrier simultaneously.
Hayes in his second season with Jacksonville. Loss of 3, sets up a 3rd and 4. Jaguars coming, screen pass over the middle. This is Sanu. Out to the 35, first down and more. Mohamed Sanu on a 7-yard catch, his 4th reception today.
Sanu is a big receiver. I mean, he's perfect, and he has blossomed, as we said, in the absence of A.J. Green. And, you know, when they get healthy and get everyone back, you get the sense that his confidence has gone to a whole nother level. Many of the players said they had seen this from Mo Sanu in many practices, and now he's carrying it out on Sundays.
First and 10, little trickery. End around play, this is Sanu. Across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Boy, ran into his own guy. Mike Pollock, the guard, just couldn't seem to get out of his way. And Sanu upset. Picks up 9, maybe 10.
Yeah, he's going to be coming around this way. And take a look. Just toss it to him. And now all he got to do is just keep his feet, be a little more patient, pick up a block from his quarterback.
Again, dog blocking.
That's right. Yeah. And Mike Pollock was the guard. Remember, he's playing in place of Kevin Zeitler. He's got to do a better job of blocking the defensive back and helping Sanu pick up that first down.
Second and short. Keep it on the ground to Hill. First down, lunges across the 45 and brought down just outside the 46. We had a chance to visit with Sanu yesterday, a young man who was born in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Says as a little kid, he was basically growing up on the campus of Rutgers University. He didn't realize it when he was a youngster. Enrolled at the university in 2009. And again, you don't know where this offense would be, Solly, without his play in the absence of Green the last 3 weeks.
And what did he say? He said, I'm licking my chops now for A.J. to come back because I know I'm going to get more one-on-one opportunities, and Hugh Jackson's going to get me the football.
First and 10 after the run. Keep it on the ground here. This is Pearman. Getting to the edge, minimal run. Forced out of bounds by Reynolds and Cyprian. Back to New York in an update. Here's JB.
Philly extends its lead by 10.
And here comes Chris Polk out of the backfield, handoff from Mark Sanchez. Sanchez on the day, 10 of 16, 153 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. In for the injured Nick Foles. 24-14 Eagles on top.
Spiro and Solomon.
Mark Sanchez sighting in that game. You see the Eagles 3-0 all time against Houston. Dalton on 2nd and 8. Slings it over the middle, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Sherrod Martin, the backup safety. And once again, Gus Bradley's defense making it happen.
He undercuts this route. Mohamed Sanu over the middle of the field. But see, he underthrows it. He's able to get it, coming underneath, getting the interception. It's the play this defense in Jacksonville we're looking for.
First pick of the season by Sherrod Martin, only his 6th game with Jacksonville. Signed in late September. Here's Bortles, penalty marker flies, trying to locate Hearns again. We'll get the call here from Ron Torbert as we move under 5 minutes left in this third quarter.
Offside. Defense. Number 97. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
That's Geno Atkins.
Another look at the INT. The route's going to be by Sanu here because the defender takes an outside position. Dalton believes he can get it in, but take a look. Dalton is reading the underneath defender, trying to just get it over him. He doesn't know that Martin's going to undercut the route and then able to steal the ball for an interception.
Robinson brought down from the back. And Solid, keep in mind, it's a secondary for Jacksonville that's awfully banged up. They've lost Alan Ball, tricep injury. Will Blackman, fractured finger, he's out indefinitely. So a guy in Sherrod Martin, who they just signed in late September, has to play a big role. And he has his 8th career pick. 2nd and short. Here's Robinson again. He's got the first down and more. Just lost his footing inside Bengals territory. 14 yards. And a Jacksonville first down.
He could have run for more. Zane Beatles, the left guard, is going to pull on this play. Take a look. He's going to come around, and that's what springs him and gets him to the next level. Look at the kick-out block right there. And then, look, he just loses his footing and goes down.
See Robinson's numbers over 70 yards on the ground. His 12th attempt of the afternoon. Coming up Thursday on CBS, Holmes and Watson are back. And this week, it's a case of mind over matter. Don't miss a new Elementary Thursday night, 10/9 Central, only CBS. So first turnover of the game committed by either team. And Salmon, right now, Jacksonville not looking like a 1-7 team.
And they're running the ball very effectively coming at this Bengals defense.
High formation set. Gerhardt in front of Robinson. Play action from Bortles. Going to throw across the field. It is incomplete. What an effort by Gerhardt. Blanketed by Vincent Ray, the linebacker. Making the start today for the injured Vontaze Burfict.
There's Gerhardt there. Now they're going to roll back this way, but he keeps upfield. Vincent Ray is in chase. And see, Ray doesn't turn around to find the football until the last minute. Gerhardt makes an acrobatic catch. Oh, no, it does. It hits the ground. Thought he may have caught it before he went out of bounds.
3rd and 7. You see what Jacksonville has done on 3rd down. There have been a lot of 3rd and long situations today.
Yeah, 1 of 7 on the day.
Bortles under pressure. Hit as he throws. Ball comes loose. No signal from the officials. Was it a forward pass or a fumble? Under pressure, Lemur and Reggie Nelson coming right at Bortles. And now they say incomplete pass.
Incomplete. But he was under pressure. Watch number 20, bottom of your screen. Here's Nelson. He misses. And then Lemur gets the hit. But the arm was moving forward. That ball did roll out of bounds on the sideline.
Well, this kid Lemur, Solomon, has turned into some kind of player. Missed all of last season with a shoulder injury. Last week left the game briefly with a shoulder. as Brandon Tate is dumped down right after the catch at his own 10-yard line.
We've got a great headliner.
One more time.
Broncos, Patriots.
Manning against Brady.
Greatest quarterback rivalry maybe in history.
This one is going to be one for the ages.
All those two legends write the latest chapter of their storied rivalry. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and they will do it in inclement weather in Foxborough, rain and wind, as they kick off just after 4 o'clock.
Keep in mind, Spiro, I've been with Tom Brady. I've heard him say the more snow you throw. So if you're paying attention, Denver, just watch out. Tom Brady will light it up, even in bad weather.
First and 10, here's the tight end Gresham. Cross the 10, making guys miss. Gresham, a massive man, 6'5", 260. Taking guys for a piggyback ride, 8 yards. Brought down by Derek Marks and Cyprian.
And Hugh Jackson hasn't forgotten about Jermaine Gresham, continuing to get him the ball. Remember, the first pass of the game from Andy Dalton went to Jermaine Gresham, and now he has 4 in the game. They're going to continue to feed him in the underneath coverage and stretch the ball vertically with the wide receivers outside.
Dalton the pitch to Hill. Headed to the edge, crosses the 20. Forced out of bounds by the rookie Telvin Smith. Andy Dalton over the 200-yard mark passing today, but now trying to bounce back from another turnover. Had the 2 late turnovers, Solomon, last Sunday that he was able to overcome against the Ravens. It'll be 1st and 10.
We said at halftime in the second half of this game, Hugh Jackson was going to need Andy Dalton to control the tempo and tenor of this football game. He's going to have to manage it, try to create big plays, but he can't give up big plays to the defense by turning the football over.
Come up on 2 minutes left in the quarter. This is Hill. Crosses the 30. Hill picking up steam. Ball comes loose. What's the call here? Looks like it may have been down by contact. Officials talking about it. And now they say Jacksonville football.
Wow.
Fumble recovered by Josh Evans.
Now remember, Mike.
As Cincinnati turns it over for the second straight possession.
Remember, Mike Carey already told us, okay, there's your contact. Now, does the forearm hit the ground? Yes, forearm hit the ground, and it looked like the ball came loose after the forearm made contact with the ground, which means that's the case. If that's how they saw it, the ball is going to go back to the Bengals.
Every turnover subject to automatic review. Call on the field is a fumble and a recovery by Jacksonville. And now the replay officials both here and New York will take another look.
And the key is,
play will go under review.
there you go. Do you have enough evidence to overturn the call on the field? Was Rude a fumble on the field? He was hit by Evans, so that was your contact. And then once the forearm hit the ground, then the ball came out. Had the ball begun to come out before that forearm makes contact with the ground, then I think they would uphold the call down on the field. But it looked to me, at least, like he had possession of the ball and then the forearm made contact.
Ron Torbert is our referee.
There you go.
So you think this will be overturned?
I think we have enough evidence there to suggest that it should be overturned. I've learned my lesson.
Just when
in
you
the
think
past.
you've got these things figured out.
But by virtue of the rule, yes, I believe it should be overturned, and the ball should go back to the Bengals.
Well, you thought that Cincinnati was running away with it. 19 unanswered points. We're up 19-3. They take advantage of a Jacksonville turnover that was overturned correctly by the officials. 40-yard bomb from Bortles to Allen Hurns. Now this is a 9-point game here. And let's bring in our officiating expert, Mike Carey. Mike, take us through.
Well, you have the runner airborne, and the first part of his body to hit is the forearm, and we can see complete control when it hits. This should be reversed. If I was in the booth, that's what I would do, reverse this to down by contact.
Okay, Mike Carey making his call from New York. Let's see what the officials elect to do here. Again, the call in the field is a fumble and a recovery by Gus Bradley's Jaguars.
See, I'm coachable. I even learned from Mike. Mike has taught me. I try to study. I try to pay attention, Mike, because I know You're taking a look at it, Mike, but help us to understand by virtue of the rule why you think it should be overturned.
Because you could see that he has complete control when the forearm hits, and then the ball pops loose. Had the ball been moving, it would have been a different situation.
All right, Mike Carey, our officiating expert from New York. Here's Tarbert with the call.
The ruling on the field will be reversed. The runner's arm was down before the ball came out. It will be Cincinnati's ball, 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line, left hash. The clock will start on my ready for play signal.
All right, so Mike Carey all over it. And Cincinnati averting another disaster.
And we say turnovers are the great equalizer. Looked like the Bengals was going to run away with this game. They scored on their first possession to begin the second half. Then a turnover by Andy Dalton. A nice long pass from Blake Bortles. And look, they now trail by 9 and nearly had themselves another turnover. So if you're the Bengals, we talk about them needing to manage the game, but still maintaining some aggressive way of trying to score points. It's up to the quarterback to protect the football and the players at the skill position. Running back, wide receivers, protect the football, don't turn it over, and you're able to come out of here with a win.
You're getting pretty good at those replays too, my friend.
Pay attention. I'm coachable. Always been coachable.
Turns out to be a 15-yard gain for the Bengals. They give Hill a blow. Human on the field. Dalton fakes the handoff to him, throws across his body, near side. It's incomplete. Unable to locate Green. A.J. Green today, 2 catches, 26 yards in his return.
Dalton, he knows. He threw that one too hard, high and outside of the receiver, and he thought he never set his foot. See, watch. You're going to see Green's going to come back. He uncovers himself right there. But look, this ball is high and outside because Andy Dalton never set his feet on that play.
Green missing the last 3 games with the injury to the right big toe. Bengals today playing without Giovanni Bernard, their leader in all-purpose yards. Dalton took it back, it's loose. And now the officials will rule incomplete pass.
He's lucky.
Marshall Newhouse, who's into the game for the injured Andre Smith, fell on the football anyway.
He is very lucky. He had a play similar to this last week, and then watch him. He's double clutching. See, right now you just got to protect the ball. Now that hand was going forward, even though the arm was hit by Chris Clemens. But you've got to protect the football. Holding the ball in a precarious way as the pocket is collapsing around you. Make yourself very prone to turnovers at critical moments in games.
See Dalton's numbers. Threw his 5th interception of the season earlier.
Now they're going to take a look at it. Perhaps, or is there a timeout?
Cincinnati will have to take its 2nd timeout, down to just 1. And that could come back to haunt them if this one stays close. Minute 19 remaining. And Cincinnati's lead at 9. Let's bring in Mike Carey. Oh, we're not going to bring in Mike. 3rd and 10. With a minute 19 to play, so Dalton back onto the field. And Sami, look at Dalton last couple of weeks. You mentioned the turnovers. He's looked jittery in the pocket.
Oh, absolutely. And as the pocket starts to collapse on you, you've got to be strong with that ball. You got to hold it and possess it in 2 hands, not 1. Even if you are going to attempt to throw, you have to possess the ball very strongly in 2 hands until you release it.
3rd and 10. Screen pass far side to Gresham. Needed to get to the 47. Well short. Demetrius McCray making the start for the injured Allen Ball. On the tackle, 4 yards, and the Bengals forced to punt.
Yeah, they seem to have gotten themselves out of sorts there after the run by Hill. Remember, they were running the ball very well. Jeremy Hill had a couple of nice runs, and then he almost turned it over, had to take a look at it, and they seem to have lost the momentum after that play.
Just can't say enough about Gus Bradley's defense, the recovery that they've made after that just awful start to the season. Sanders back deep. They're playing from the 10, going backwards. Excellent punt coverage. Trey Kirkpatrick with his 2nd special teams tackle. Dump Sanders for a loss of a yard.
He makes an excellent gunner coming down because Sanders is very good in space. Take a look, coming down from your right side. He's the gunner, number 27, Dre Kirkpatrick. Look at the speed and then the ability to close and wrap up on the tackle to get Sanders on the ground. That's just textbook special teams by Dre Kirkpatrick.
So the Jacksonville Jaguars just 1-7. Their lone victory coming week 7 against Cleveland. Somehow trying to pull the upset down 9. Final seconds, third quarter, Robinson out past the 10. Minimal gain. That should take us to the end of the quarter. Wallace Gilberry on the tackle. Their 7th-year end out of Alabama.
And as we head into the fourth quarter, if you're Jacksonville, you got to allow the run game to fuel your offense. If you're Gus Bradley, you have to empower this young quarterback to take shots against this Bengals secondary, win in one-on-one opportunities.
End of the third quarter, 19-10 Cincinnati will return to Paul Brown Stadium after this. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Oh, Jacksonville, after looking dead in the water earlier, down 19-3. Early in the third quarter, have fought back. They've got it deep on their own side of the field as we begin the fourth from Cincinnati. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcots, rest of our CBS crew here in week 9. Bortles throwing far side, 2nd and 8. It's incomplete. Short-armed Allen Robinson, the rookie receiver. It'll be 3rd and long. We'll see what Jedd Fisch elects to do here. Don't want to take a chance and make a critical mistake.
Yeah, you have to balance being confident versus being careful with the football if you're Blake Bortles. Most of his interceptions, Spiro, have come in the second half of ball games. We saw him throw an interception against Pittsburgh. In this situation, backed up against his own goal line, tried to go quick to the outside, had a return for a touchdown.
Threw 2 pick sixes last Sunday against Miami, 4 on the season. Over the middle, that one was nearly picked. Incomplete, and the Jacksonville Jaguars will punt from inside their own end zone.
Yeah. More careless than careful because you throw it over the middle of the field, you read the defense wrongly, and look at that. It's the 3rd time they've dropped an interception today. Lemieux, right through his hands. You said he had the big pick last week against Baltimore. He's allowed 2 to go through his hands in today's game.
Anger has had 2 kicks blocked. Jones from his own 45. It's going to be a short field. Jones still going inside the 25. Takes a hard hit from Loston at the 24-yard line. 31 yards on the electrifying return from Adam Jones. And Andy Dalton and Cincinnati back in business.
Ever since Adam Jones has come into the National Football League, he's been constant and consistent in terms of doing this. Looking for opportunities to impact the game with his speed, the ability to get down the field on punt return, setting Andy Dalton and the offense up with great field position.
Adam Jones, by the way, has returned 88 straight punts without signaling for a fair catch. Incredible stuff. Here's the rookie Hill getting downhill inside the 20. Again, if you just joined us, making his first NFL start today for the injured Gio Bernard. Tackled by Clemens. On a nice first down run from Hill.
55 offensive plays for the Cincinnati Bengals compared to 38 for Jacksonville. At what point does this stellar defense by Gus Bradley begin to wear down? Typically, you get about 65 plays in a game. Once you get close to 70, Spiro, that's when the dam bursts.
Mentioned the injuries in the secondary. They've been playing without their leader, Paul Posluszny, who went down in week 7. Dalton slings it end zone. He's got his man for the Cincinnati touchdown. A.J. Green, 28 yards, and Cincinnati builds on its lead.
He was looking for A.J. Green the entire time. He was matched up against Dwayne Gratz. And look, he's going to just stem his route at the top of the numbers. That's the target line for that throw, to beat the safety, Josh Evans, from coming over and helping on the play. Look, right there, balls right on top of him. It was a laser from Dalton to A.J. Green.
3rd touchdown reception of the season for Green. as Cincinnati welcomes him back after being on the shelf each of the last 3 weeks. Point after from Nugent is good. Green going airborne for the 28-yard touchdown on CBS. A.J. Green, 28-yard touchdown reception. A play set up by the 31-yard punt return by Adam Jones, who has been so good for Cincinnati in that return game.
And that was just great throw. Vision, accuracy, arm strength from Andy Dalton.
26-10. Is there another burst left in these Jaguars at 1-7? Todman across the 20. Solomon, you wondered how the timing would be affected between Green after the 3-week layup. Boy, it was perfect on the touchdown.
Yeah, he's going to throw it. The target line, he's got to get up to the top of the numbers. But watch Dalton. He knows he's got to beat the safety, so he'll look him off by going this way and then come all the way back and just lasering it in to A.J. Green. Look, he looks off the safety, and then he beats the safety with the throw. Just a real heater to A.J. Green. Talk about the arm strength and accuracy of Andy Dalton.
Second touchdown toss of the day for Dalton. Earlier to Sanu, that time to Green. Bortles, he eludes the set, tucks it away, he's going to run it. Dragged down from the back. What a play by Geno Atkins, who had a slow recovery from the ACL tear. Missed the final 7 games last season. Looks like Bortles may be shaken up. But over the last couple of weeks, Atkins, Solomon, has started to resemble his old Pro Bowl self.
He sure has. He's thought through it really well. Look, he rolls over the quarterback. You know, these big linemen, if they do catch you, they're going to try to hurt you on the way down to the ground. Look, he rolls up on Bortles. When Bortles got up, he appeared to be shaken up just a little bit after being tackled by Geno Atkins.
Looked like Bortles was favoring his left hand. Keeps it on the ground. Robinson takes on a hard hit right at the 30. And now that Bengals defense is fired up. Vincent Ray, the 4th-year backer out of Duke, on the stop.
Look at Vincent Ray, 57. He'll take you to the ball carrier. Wow. Hard to get up from those, Spiro.
Marvin Lewis said he hasn't been used to being a 60, 70, even an 80-snap defender, but boy, has he played at a high level. Today making the start for the injured Burfict. 3rd and 5. Denard Robinson lined up. Bottom of your picture. Bortles looks right, throws left, completes. Allen Robinson right at the first down marker. And now the officials, I believe, will signal for the first down. 1st and 10, Jacksonville.
That was a huge play by Bortles, who had some problems converting on 3rd down. It's only the second 3rd down they've been able to convert in the game today.
Only the 8th first down for Jacksonville. Bortles strong far side. Here's Schultz wide open, and Schultz pays the price. George Iloka laid him out. 14 yards and a first down. We saw Schultz calling for the trainers. That's never a good sign.
Iloka, he seems to be a little dazed himself. He was able to get up, but he's heading right toward the sideline. It was just a massive collision between both players.
The punishment that these players take week in and week out, just unbelievable. Clean defensive hit by Iloka. Timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new LG G3, the world's first smartphone with laser autofocus. New York Life Insurance Company. And by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill.
Temperatures dipping down right around 40 degrees. Cecil Shorts paying the price. A vicious hit a moment ago on a 14-yard first down reception by that man, George Iloka. Both men get a breather. Sean Williams has come in at safety for the Bengals. And play whistle dead. Brandon Thompson came across early for Cincinnati.
Encroachment, defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And here was the last collision, a vicious hit by Iloka. Sally, you wonder how these guys get up sometimes. Looked like Shorts' body almost went limp after that hit. And we have been told Shorts will return. Over the middle, it's the rookie Allen Robinson. We saw Hearns earlier on the 40-yard touchdown. That's a first down pass play. 13 yards, they moved the chains.
And I love the way that Blake Bortles is attacking this Bengals defense. Short, quick passes where he has a clear line to the receiver for a completion.
Bortles fakes the draw to Robinson, ducks inside the 30. Sally, we've had the Jacksonville Jaguars 3 times this season. Everyone you talk to in their organization loves Bortles. They say he's got the presence, he's got that it factor that you want, fearless. Obviously, there have been growing pains with the interceptions, the mistakes. But, you know, right here, again, he's showing you what he's all about inside.
Absolutely. And what did Gus Bradley talk about? The body language of his quarterback. Said, hey, your players in the huddle, they're going to feed off what you do. And he's kept his body language in a positive manner here today.
Bortles on the drive, 3 for 3 for 33 yards and a couple of first down passes. 2nd and 8. Play action. Bortles to Robinson. Inside the 20 and another first down. Perfectly executing 12 yards through the air. Injured Bengal is Leon Hall, the 8th-year veteran corner.
Just going to be a real quick flare after the play action. He goes right to the guy he faked it to. Denard Robinson out in the flat. His speed and quickness to get to the next level. Looks like Leon Hall gets banged up. Manuel Lemieux sort of whacked his own teammate right in the face, and Hall's got to come out as Bortles comes back on.
Now Hall just got crunched. Emmanuel Lamar has been a battering ram today, wreaking havoc against this Jaguars offense. 1st and 10, just outside the 18. 8th play of the drive. We come up on 10 minutes left. Jacksonville down 16. Fake handoff, Gerhard. Bortles throwing corner, the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Hearns. Somehow snatched it away from Newman. And once again, Jacksonville fighting back. 18 yards on the catch by Hearns.
And we told you the Cincinnati Bengals was one of the best secondary defenders against the pass in the NFL, but got to give it to Allen Hearns. He makes the adjustment on the throw from Bortles. I thought Terrence Newman was going to intercept this. He's in great position, but look, Hearns comes back, fights for the ball, gets himself a touchdown.
5th touchdown of the season. Now, easy choice to go for 2 here to try to get Jacksonville within 8. So Bortles with his 8th touchdown pass of the season. Now trying to bang it in for 2. Bortles, fade back corner. It is incomplete. Through the hands of Shorts. Newman on the coverage. And Cincinnati's lead stays at 10.
Blake Bortles taking a shot, trying to add 2, but keeping his team in the game in Cincinnati.
See the scoring drive by Jacksonville. Bortles leads him down the field. Bortles on the drive, 4 for 4, 63 yards. As Allen Hearns catches his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon, had a 40-yarder earlier, and that time 18 yards. As he flashes a wide grin on the Jaguars sideline. Every time you think that the Bengals are out of the woods, Jacksonville has come back. Brandon Tay that past the 20. Brought down around the 23 by Telvin Smith. And Solomon, a ragged 3rd quarter. First, the interception by Dalton, and then a couple of near turnovers.
Oh, absolutely. And when you start turning the ball over, this fumble by Hill was ruled a non-fumble. They get the ball back, but Dalton, he gets a little uncomfortable in the pocket. That looks like a fumble. It's ruled to be an incompletion. They do keep the ball, but it derailed the offense. Took them out of their rhythm. As you can see, you know, they've had a couple of possessions here in the second half. Interception, then a punt.
Such a big game for Cincinnati. 4-2-1. Leapfrogging Baltimore with their win here over the Ravens last Sunday. Short week, have to play here Thursday against Cleveland in another divisional matchup.
And remember, later today, Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
That's right.
They're going to play. And the Bengals are only in first place by 18 percentage points. Where they have 4 wins, both Baltimore and Pittsburgh are 5-3.
2nd and 8. Rex Burkhead, who had a blocked punt earlier. Onto the field in the I formation set. Play action from Dalton. Throws up the seam. Too far in front of Green. Dwayne Gratz with him step for step. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Give Green credit for at least getting a hand on it, knocking it down, not going to allow this ball to be intercepted. Remember, the last time they ran that route, Dalton put it on him with great accuracy. That time, overthrown, high and outside.
It's a Jacksonville defense that has allowed just over 11 offensive points per game in the last 4 weeks. 3rd and 8. Dalton pump fakes. That one is intercepted. J.T. Thomas inside the 10. It was knocked around like a pinball and fell right into Thomas's lap.
We just talked about this. We just showed how careless he had been with the football on the previous possession. He was fortunate on that play. It was ruled an incompletion. And then watch this one here. Not taking care of the football, and it just slips right out of his hand. Was his arm moving forward? But it never hit the ground. As you said, it goes right in the hands of J.T. Thomas. Look at this. Ricochets right off Whitworth into the hand of Thomas for an interception.
Interception for Thomas for the 2nd straight week. First 2 of his career. 1st and goal. This one getting awfully interesting now. Robinson lunges forward to the 5. It's a 10-point football game with under 9 minutes left. And Jacksonville sitting pretty with all 3 timeouts.
One team comes in with an awesome record of 4-2-1. The other one, 1-7 is Jacksonville. There you see, ball off the back of Whitworth into the hands of J.T. Thomas. But if you start turning it over, Gus Bradley's bunch, they're a feisty group. They can come in here and steal a game away from the Bengals, but no team has been able to beat them in 13 straight home games.
2nd and goal. Robinson busts it in! And here comes Jacksonville!
Momentum shifts over to the Jacksonville Jaguars after the interception by J.T. Thomas, and then the touchdown by Denard Robinson. They rip right off the right side of the offensive line to score the touchdown. And we said Andy Dalton was going to have to manage the game here in the second half. He has not done a good job of doing that and gives the opportunity to the Jacksonville Jaguars to put more points on the board.
Jacksonville at one point in the second half was down 19-3 as this Cincinnati crowd stunned at the moment. Robinson approaching 100 yards for a 3rd straight week. Jacksonville within 3 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Get your own big hot pastrami melt at Subway. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by MetLife. Surprise, surprise. The Jacksonville Jaguars at one time down 19-3 in the second half have come storming back. 3-point game with 8:13 remaining. Taking advantage of a couple of Cincinnati turnovers in the second half.
Both by Andy Dalton.
And that one goes out of bounds. Flag comes down. That's a mistake that just can't happen for Josh Scobie.
No, you give him the ball. Yeah.
Kicking team number 10. Ball will be spotted at the 40-yard line. First down, Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's the result. That's a huge play for the Bengals. Just keep the ball on the court. Keep it in the field of play. And look, this one goes right out. Now the penalty flag, you give the Bengals excellent field position.
Well, can Andy Dalton settle his nerves? He's thrown 2 interceptions in his last 8 pass attempts. First and 10, this is Hill. Come back inside Jaguars territory. One man to beat inside the 15. Still going, and he is in. Jeremy Hill, 60 yards to give the Bengals some breathing room.
You asked a great question. Can Andy Dalton settle his nerves? Leave it up to Hugh Jackson to give him the play to help settle the quarterback down. Run the football. And Jeremy Hill hits a home run for his quarterback and for his football team. Josh Evans is the safety who was coming over trying to make the tackle. He's down, injured, out of bounds. And how Jeremy Hill made him miss tight roping that sideline, I'll never know.
Second rushing touchdown for Hill, who's got 131 yards in his first NFL start.
Excellent blocking, digging him out. Now watch this. As he's tight roping this sideline, he's going to give him that little lazy leg. And then watch this, cutting back, or he outruns him and still able to get into the end zone.
Solomon, he's so big. Evans just literally rolled off his back, and Hill barely broke stride.
But how he was able to just sort of slow himself down, gather himself, and then accelerate beyond him. 18 carries, 131 yards for the rookie running back in his first start.
First time over the 100-yard rushing mark in Hill's career. And now they continue to look at Evans, who will make the long walk to the Jaguars sideline. So Cincinnati responds with a touchdown in 9 seconds. And you know why head coaches talk about special teams and the magnitude of those plays during the course of a game. And that's a kicker that's been around a long time. Scobie somehow just could not keep the kick inbounds, gave the Bengals a short field, and Hill took advantage in one play.
Just good, excellent blocking up front. And then we talk about the vision and the patience of a young running back like Hill, having played for Cam Cameron and played at LSU in the SEC against 8 men in the box week in and week out. With the talent they have in that conference, they feel good about using their second-round pick on Hill, and Boise paying off here today.
Mike Nugent, 5th season here in Cincinnati, on for the point after. Bengals lead back to 10 as they continue to congratulate Hill after the 60-yard run.
Now watch this. It's going to be 65 bowling. He's going to come around, and then they'll just dig him out. And then watch that fullback. You've got the tight end, Ryan Hewitt. Look at the kick out there. And then he's able to make the unblocked defender, number 37, Jonathan Cyprian. He overruns it, and then he can elude the safety at the second level near the end zone, Josh Evans. See how he slowed him down there and then accelerated and powered right through the would-be tackle.
Cincinnati unbeaten in 13 regular season home games here. Have not lost at home in the regular season since last December the 9th. 12-0-1. That tie coming a couple of weeks ago here against the Panthers. And what an afternoon for Jeremy Hill. First NFL start. Giovanni Bernard is scratched with the hip injury. And boy, after seeing Hill run like he has today, I'm not sure they won't give Bernard the night off on Thursday, give him an extra couple of days of rest.
Well, the Bengals under Marvin Lewis, particularly over the last 5 years or so, they've drafted very well. On draft day, they sat and they waited. And the back that they had at the top of their board was Jeremy Hill. Remember, Carlos Hyde grew up here in Cincinnati and played at Ohio State. They had evaluated both, but they chose to go with Jeremy Hill when the selection came in the second round.
I think that decision has paid off.
No one's complaining.
Todman plays it from his own end zone and is brought down at the 20. We mentioned the Thursday night game. It'll showcase an AFC North rivalry. Cincinnati and Cleveland, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on NFL Network. Bengals at the top of the division by the skin of their teeth. A quarterback matchup featuring Brian Hoyer, the Cleveland native, against Andy Dalton.
Now look at that. Brian Hoyer averaging more passing yards per game than is Andy Dalton. And both defenses are very good. That Cleveland Brown defense, you got to watch out for.
Play action. Bortles trying to bring him back up the field again. Youngster has been fearless in the second half, coming back. Under 8 minutes left. This team down 10.
And that was a good decision by him, Spiro. That was intended to be overthrown and out of bounds. He didn't try to jam it into double coverage, and rightly so.
Robinson approaching 100 yards across the 25, brought down at the 27. We mentioned a short week and a big week for the Bengals. Also an interesting week, Solly, for Jacksonville. They fly from here directly to London tonight, and they will play the Cowboys across the Atlantic next Sunday.
Yeah, and last year when they flew over to London after playing on Sunday, they went back home to Jacksonville and then left the next day, flying from Jacksonville across the pond. This year decided to do things a little bit different. They'll leave here from Cincinnati, but now they got to get Blake Bortles going on third down. Right now, only 2 of 10 on the day on third down. Again, he has to be careful with the football, particularly when throwing the ball over the middle of the field, where he's nearly been intercepted some 3 times today.
Toby Gerhart lines up, bottom of your picture. Bortles throwing far side, it is caught. Hurns appears to have the first down, and he does. Boy, he has made some big plays, hasn't he?
Oh, he sure has.
40-yard touchdown reception, then the 18-yard scoring catch. Big first down catch that time.
I remember Hurns had the big performance week 1 when Chad Henne was the quarterback in that game against the Eagles. It's been quiet somewhat since then.
Bortles looking right, throws left, screen pass. This is Gerhart. Across the 40, close to the 45, taking on Tankless. Brought down by Ray and Lemur. 14-yard catch and run from Gerhart for the first down.
And Jed Fish right now, the offense coordinator, doing a lot of good things in a creative way to get the ball in the hand of the playmakers. That time on the check down screen, Toby Gerhart. I think those kind of plays help the young quarterback.
Play action. Bortles over the middle, wobbling pass, somehow caught by Hurns. Another magic trick from the rookie. Leon Hall was there. Looks to be shaken up. 28 more yards and a first down.
Well, they can't keep Hurns from catching the ball. He's 6'3", 195, but he might as well be a power forward. The way he's just wrestling the ball away from the Cincinnati Bengals defensive backs. We've seen him do this several times, even with Leon Hall draped all over him. Hurns able to pry the ball loose. He comes down with it for a reception.
Solomon mentioned what Hurns did opening day. Became the first NFL player in history with 2 receiving touchdowns in the first quarter of his NFL debut. 2 more touchdowns today. Jacksonville on the move again. Down 10, 6 minutes left. Hurns over the century mark with 6 receptions. First and 10, Bortles to his other rookie target, Allen Robinson, close to the 20.
And Blake Bortles in the second half of this ball game, and we said it, Spiro, at halftime, they're going to have to start pushing the ball up the field in the passing game. And since they've been able to do that, it's been wide open. But I still think he has to play within himself and make sure he sees what he needs to see, a receiver wide open before he throws the football.
Paul Gunther dialing up a blitz here. And you see Bortles.
He changed the play to something quick.
2nd and 3. Quick pass right. This is Schultz. Lunges for the first down. Where do they spot it? Looks to be about a yard short. Shorts took that crunching hit earlier. Tackled by Newman.
Good job by the Bengals defense. They were bluffing as if they were going to blitz. They got the young quarterback to check off and change the play at the line of scrimmage, thinking, hey, they're bringing more than we can protect, so I got to throw the ball quickly. And that's exactly what happened.
Keep in mind, Jacksonville, all 3 timeouts. Big call here. 3rd and 1. Gerhardt banks it forward. He's got the first down. Toby Gerhardt, who returned from the foot injury last Sunday, 5 yards and a first down.
And he's running like he's healthy. And he's running like he's got a purpose. Look at him. Lowering the shoulder on Reggie Nelson, who still is nipping at the ankles of Gerhardt, but this is the best I've seen him run all season long.
Gerhardt again, who began the season as their starter. 5 hard-fought yards for the first down. 9th play of the drive. This is 1st and 10. Bortles pump fakes, moves right, throwing end zone, and he's intercepted by Iloka. Third pick of the season for the 3rd-year safety as Bortles makes a costly mistake.
And what were the coaching points? He's got to be careful, especially when throwing the ball over the middle of the field. Make sure you see where you are throwing. And he was very late, as you can see, to the back of the end zone. He threw that ball way too late. No receiver was open, and he threw it into a crowded area of Orange defenders. George Iloka coming down with it. They nearly had 3 interceptions earlier in the game, and Iloka catches the first one thrown to the defense.
First pick thrown by Bortles today, his 13th of the season. And prior to that interception, Bortles had completed 10 of his 11 previous passes. He was cooking. 1st and 10, Jeremy Hill looking for more. His career day continues. First down run of 11 yards.
Speaking of cooking, he already has 2 rushing touchdowns. Looks like he wants more. And I think it's a perfect thing to do if you're Hugh Jackson. You feed Jeremy Hill the football. You eat plenty of clock, and you allow him to grow and develop as a closer within your offense.
Cincinnati not out of the woods yet, as Jacksonville will burn the first of its 3 timeouts. Cincinnati, couple of near picks today.
Oh, they had their opportunities, Mark. Look at that. Emmanuel Lemire let one hit the ground. There's another one he should have caught. So Blake Bortles, not every pass should have been completed. There was another opportunity to get a pick. And then finally, George Iloka saying, I'll do the honors. If others won't, make sure he comes down with it, saves the day, turns back this Jacksonville offense that was knocking at the door. You can see the turnover battle being won by Jacksonville right now.
It was Iloka who drew that game-turning pass interference call last Sunday against Steve Smith Sr. And the victory here over the Ravens. Jeremy Hill on the minimal gain. Clock continues to run with 3.5 remaining. Coming up after the game, time permitting, the NFL Today update presented by LG G3. JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher will take you around the NFL in Week 9.
That's before we head out to Gillette Stadium for that upcoming game later on. Denver Broncos, New England Patriots, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Can't wait to see that.
You'll be on your couch for that.
You should join me.
2nd and 9. Well, Jeremy Hill will get a good sleep tonight. How'd you like to rush for just under 150 yards in your first NFL start? 22-year-old second-round pick out of LSU.
And he's shown everything. He's shown patience in the running game, the vision. Now he's got to show he can protect the football when closing out football games.
Jacksonville burning its 2nd timeout. With just under 3 minutes left. Week 9 continues later today on CBS. And for those of you on Fox, Sunday Night Football comes your way later tonight. And tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN. And your luck against Eli Manning and the Giants.
I got to ask you, did you get that extra hour of sleep? Did you enjoy
did I ever?
Daylight savings?
Oh, did I ever. Good sleeping weather here in Cincinnati. Nice and cold. And overcast. 3rd and 7. Dalton flushed in. That's Ryan Hewitt, the rookie backup tight end out of Stanford. First down, Cincinnati. A pickup of 8. So this is what the standings look like in the AFC North. Bengals right now sitting at 4-2-1, unbeaten in the division. Again, the only division in football where all 4 teams are above 500.
Cleveland 5-3. I think it's just phenomenal. I like it because, you know, after that game last week from Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh is surging. They're not going anywhere. Joe Flacco is playing lights out in Baltimore.
Browns a winner today over Tampa. And they'll be here again on Thursday night. Hill moving left. First down run, trying to run that clock down. This will take us to the 2-minute warning. Tackle made by Reynolds. 10-point lead. Gus Bradley hoping for one last gasp on CBS. Final 2 minutes from Cincinnati. 10-point lead for the Bengals, looking for their 5th win of the season and maintain a very slim lead atop the AFC North. Bortles throwing his first pick of the afternoon. Just a couple of minutes ago, George Iloka, his 3rd interception of the season. 2nd and 7 from the 35. Here's Hill. That'll get him over 150 yards on the ground today, as his career afternoon continues. Jacksonville will take its final timeout. So Cincinnati, Solomon opened the 4th quarter with a touchdown. That made it 26-10, and that set off the fireworks.
Yeah, it was fireworks. Getting the ball to A.J. Green for a touchdown there, and then Hurns wrestling the ball away. He gets it into the end zone, and then Andy Dalton gets picked up by Thomas, and then from there, Denard Robinson punches it in. And how about the rookie running back, Jeremy Hill, setting sail for a touchdown, just a barrage of scores until George Iloka puts it into intercepting Blake Bortles, getting the ball back to Cincinnati. Combined total, Spiro, of 4 touchdowns between both teams in the 4th quarter. Just a shootout once we got it to the final frame.
Defenses, as you pointed out, started the day so well before both offenses figured it out in this final quarter. 3rd and short. Don't believe Hill got the first down with the forward progress. Clock continues to run. Minute 40 to play. Jacksonville is out of timeouts. Again, the Jaguars will fly directly to London from here tonight. And Cincinnati begins a grueling short week with very quick preparations for Cleveland on Thursday night.
On Monday, they won't even come in and watch the tape of today's game. You move on immediately. On Monday, you try to get some rest, and you start to dive into the game plan to get ready for Cleveland.
Cincinnati will try to run it down as far as they can. Jacksonville unable to stop the clock. Bengals will take the penalty.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Well, you go ahead and do that. There's no timeout left for the Jags. You eat as much time as you can right there if you're Cincinnati. And now you punt it, but make sure you tackle the punt return guy.
Huber's punt. Fielded by Sanders inside his own 10. Across the 15, little juke step. Cutting back left. And brought down at around the 17-yard line. So 45 seconds left. No timeouts left for Bortles, who has made some mistakes today. The growing pains of a rookie quarterback continuing. But Salah, he's shown you something in the second half, hasn't he?
And you have to keep allowing him to play. Remember, we talked to him about this. Peyton Manning, his rookie year, said a rookie single-season record 28 interceptions as a rookie. You say, I looked at it, and you talk about some of the great quarterbacks struggled during their rookie seasons, and he's going through similar growing pains.
Bortles steps up, throws far side to Hines, who's been his favorite target in the second half. First down, 11 yards through the air. And Allen Hurns, 7 catches today for 112 yards in the 2 scores.
If you're the defense, you allow him to catch it, but in front of you, not behind you, not over your head.
Gerhardt, high-arching screen pass. He gets downhill. It's out of bounds. Heading play by Gerhardt. 50-year runner out of Stanford. 16-yard first down. They stop the clock with 13 seconds.
Doesn't Gerhardt move with a lot more agility than what you saw earlier in the season? For a big man, he moves very well.
Oh, he missed the 2 weeks with a foot injury. Now the backup with the emergence of Denard Robinson. Bortles set! And that should be the final play of the day. Margus Hunt getting there for Cincinnati. Boy, Jacksonville gave them everything they can handle in the fourth quarter, but Cincinnati wins it, and their unbeaten streak now stands at 14 games in the regular season. Coming up next, most of you will see Peyton Manning against Tom Brady, Broncos, Patriots. Now for Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew, Spiro Ditas saying so long from Cincinnati. Coming up, the NFL Today update presented by LG